rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Muna fata an tashi lafiya. Alhamdulillah. Mun gode ma Allah da muka samu kanmu yau haka muna da lafiya, muka dace da waɗanda suke da lafiya, muka ga yau babban rana Saturday 24th September kenan 2022 kenan namu, inda yau kuma alhamdulillah za mu kawo muku al'amuran gari, inda za mu duba labaran da ya shafi kasar mu Ghana cikin makon da ya wuce, ko cikin makon dai za mu ce from Monday zuwa kusa. Wasu labarai sun zo, ya mun select wasu cikin da za mu duba ni da bakina mu tattauna su masu kawo ra'ayinku insha Allah. Kuma ku kawo ra'ayinku kan Facebook don kunya ku biyo mu kan shafukanmu na sada zumunta Facebook, Instagram, Twitter da YouTube. Muna stream live kan Facebook kuma da YouTube, yasa kunya ku send messages ku kan Facebook ko dai WhatsApp line mun da ke kan screening na, da kuma za ku kawo ra'ayinku dai ko dai wasu questions ne ko clarification ne, inda abinda baki na za su faɗi ko dai batun dai issues da za mu discuss. Suna na Jama Muhammad Ibrahim, inda ni da baki na biyu yau insha Allah mun samu sabon bako da zai zo shi mai kawo ra'ayin shi dai batun dai labaran da ya shafi kasar mu Ghana. Isa mun zo hawalaka dai mun zo muku da mini gafara, mun zo muku da al'amuran gari insha Allah. Suna na Jama Muhammad. Yau issues da za mu duba, farko dai kamar da muka sani within BEIN TV during the course of the week mun follow story na batun Munira tomorrow da aka je court daga Accra nan ga City Campus Circuit Court da ke wurin. Aka dai aka ci magana da aka fara magana da accused persons nan biyun da aka accuse su dai, so ko suspects nan dai zan ce an ba su bail. Isa wasu ba su understand me yasa aka ba su bail ba. Isa through clarification aka gane kamar kowane crime dai under current regime ga ko under current laws na muke da shinga is bailable. From May 2016 the Supreme Court ya kawo wannan judgment da ke gwada kamar da dai mun san wasu crimes dai kamar murder, ya ke kiran shi treason da sauransu, defilement da rape da sauransu duka ba bail da non bailable. Amma this time dai mun san kamar the Supreme Court ruling na Martin Pebu versus Attorney General da case na mun san kamar yanzu dai kowane case dai is bailable. Yasa mutane wasu ba su understand me yasa aka bai. Yasa mun buga wannan news item zuwa gaba shi mutane su gani, na ga wannan muka yi magana da shi ma daga court premises ya yi wani karin bayani batun shuga. Mun duba dai batun Aisha Munira tomorrow zuwa gaba ko dai ya case ga zai kare, don BEIN TV nan ga dai mun follow wannan issue har dai is logical conclusion ai ya gane wa ya kata wannan aiki da ya bari yau ba mu da system mu yau tana barzau. Isa yau first topic mu kenan da za mu duba. Na biyu kuma mun duba batun wa kuma har ba yau batun kashin ga wa kuma mun ji this past week ana kakkashin mutane especially security personnel. Mun gama IGP ya je wurin, ya je a show mutane, muna ji ma ya kai police 350 je wurin saboda su yi su maintain law and order da ensure security na wurin na. Isa mun ga wani NGO kuma force da su ma suna gwada saboda akwai kwanciyar hankali wannan. Yasa ya bari polisai sun yi complacent, ba su aikinsu, ba su sa hankalinsu especially cikin wa municipality na shi ke kawo complacency ne bari from the security apparatus ne bari haka yanzu wa ya zama kan ne zama ke kashe mutane special security ma wannan issue kuma insha Allah mu ni da baki na mun duba mu tattauna. Sannan kuma batun mun san jiya ko kan jiya zuwa da law students da za su zana entrance exams mun san su ma mun ji ake kiran shi it's even confirmed kamar exam da za su zana na ya leak prior to the zanawa exams da yasa ma an cancel ko dai an postpone time da za su zana, da su zana around 11 da aka kai shi 2. Yasa wannan za mu duba leakage of examination papers nan da sauran, especially at that level mutanen da za su zama lawyers an ya blame students nan da za su zana ko dai waɗanda suke leak, don ba leak ba students na ba su samu balatin su ce sun zana. Yasa mun duba wannan issue of leakages. Da dai mun san WAEC da wasu bodies da examination board wurin da abin ke irin wasi BEC muka sa abin na leak haka, amma ya kai even law entrance exams ma papers na ya leak da it should be a cause for concern ke nesa wannan issue kuma mun duba. The last but not the least kuma mun san sakaran jiya da president mu ya je New York daga United Nations ya je ya participate cikin UN General Assembly. Cikin addressing shi da ya yi issues da yawa ya tattaba kai. One of the issues da buga batun ya celebrate Dr. Kwame Nkrumah da muka sani 21st September ga shine birthday shi, kuma aka yi shi public holiday. Samun duba maganganun da president ya yi dai batun Nkrumah da 21st September da Nkrumah Memorial Day. Isa issues yau da kenan guda fudun da za mu duba. Isa wanda za su taimaka mini su ne kamar kana muka saba Hudu Yusuf dai da muka sani shine administrator na Umma Work Fund. So dai yana zuwa yana muna karin bayani, yana kawo ra'ayin shi dai batun labaran da muke tattauna. Sannan kuma yau sabon bako Rabiu Muftahu, shi ma na ce businessman entrepreneur ne, shi ma yau ya zo kawo thoughts shi dai wanda issues da za mu discuss. Yasa san ce gentlemen dai sannun ku da zuwa. Ala Muftahu, an tashi lafiya? Alhamdulillah. Sai yau ne first time ka ai kyau. Da dawanka boss mu nake na. Sai dai wa shi na hit hard, shi na ce mai saman kuri. Na san maybe kai ka yi the other side. One Sunday how you articulate your thoughts. Yasa Malam Hudu an tashi lafiya?
Mun gode ma Allah.
Alhamdulillah. Kamar ka na faɗi straight to the point batun Munira Moro mun ga sakaran jiya, even Baina TV ma mun je court muka yi wasu interviews abubuwa. An ba suspects nan ko da accused persons nan da an ba su bail. Yanzu ma za a fara case nan don ya ji attorney general yi docket da abubuwa sannan a fara pursue wannan case to its logical conclusion. Menene ra'ayinka batun da the whole Munira Moro issue na murder case?
To na farko dai ina gaida masu duban Baina TV da kowane lokaci suke samu dama suna duban mu. Allah ya saka mu kowa.
Amin.
Masu harkan Baina TV, masu aiki musamman, mai gidan ku duka muna fata muna roka Allah ya je shi lafiya. Baina kuma Allah ya kiyaye ku, ya sa ku ci gaba, ku zo ku zama one of the powerhouses.
Amin.
In the media space in Ghana, even beyond. Batun Hajiya Munira dai na ce dai maganan yana da nauyi kadan saboda yanda an kai labarin da muka samu ta ya wuri no within 10 days kenan aka bita aka yi wannan barna da yake magana ya tashi ko ya za a yi kowa da ra'ayin shi wanda suke kusa da su unguwan nan kowa dai ya yi maganganu wanda za a ga suspect kuma unsuspect maganganu dai da dama dai ya fito. Bugu da kari dai za mu dai ce ma familin dai mu isar da gaisuwan taziya zuwa ga familin. Allah ya hada hankulansu kuma ya ba su hankuri, musamman kuma mijin Allah ya kara mai hankuri. Na so wanga jarabta ne na Allah, abin da ya faru duka ko da ba kai bane ko kai ma ne wata ba ita zafin ya shafe ka. Akan haka muna son mu isar da sako zuwa ga family su yi hankuri. Tuna dai hukuma sun kama maganan ya je court, su duba su yi hankuri, su allow due process ya go through, mu gane yanda za a yi magana wayanda suka yi wanga babbar act a samu a kai su inda ya fi doka ya kai su. Bail da aka bayar dai na san kaman yana cikin doka, kaman idan an arrest mutum as a suspect after a reported crime or anything, ba ya hold me sheep in perpetuity or perpetually as a case is being heard by the court. So ya zama dole a grant to bail har a zo a ci magana a kare abinda jaje za su fadi shi a yi aiki da shi. Inda an je
ina ga opening remarks ka kenan, barin doki na yake kira shi Malam Muftahu, ke ma ra'ayinka opening remarks ka dai batu issue ga namu.
To kamin da fara
kamar kai gaisuwa nan
na yi gaisuwa ne sa kwan lafiya da wanda ke sauraron mu kuma suna kallon mu live daga premises in Baina TV. Gaskiya dai first time na zuwa nan nake na wanda gaskiya da naga yanda wurin nan yake da al'amuran ku na shi dadi sosai. Shin ce ko duka da nima mu kare muku addu'a mu samu cin gaba da irin matakin da kuka doke. To secondly abinda kuwa da ce dai jiya Black Stars ai mu da bulala. Yeah, muna bulala. To amma dai alhamdulillah.
Wake up call.
I think all is not lost yet, so we still have to prepare and then see the best things we can bring forth. To amma dai gaskiya magana ita Munira Murunga magana ne da yake da zafi sosai. Da kowa da ya kamata ya bi wannan issue definitely me shi ya samu. I don't know, the house and biz was so that mixing turanci kadan. It's one that really pricks the skin. Ka understand ko ya fatan ka ke da kauri. Magana ne da aka ce in dai ka bi ya kamata yi maka ciwo, because in ka duba yanda family setting mu yake, as a polygamous family setting da muke practice as Muslims, this shouldn't be something that should happen at all, because kishiyoyi dai kamar da, and this is not to allay any allegations or anything, amma dai kishiyoyi koko mutane da ke zama tare cikin gida an san mu ne kamar me makwabta ne da juna, kuma me kenan yake cewa cikin addini ma ana ce al-muslim awal muslim, ko ba haka ba. Tankan in being English, if I can translate it to the simplest or commonest meaning, we have to be each other's brothers keepers. So the nabi news item and nande kamar yanda shi brother ita Munira yake fadi wannan, ko da kai madiyanka bulala cikin daki wani yaji har a zo a yi irin wanga kashin kasa ko kashin saka zan ce a yi irin wanga kashin walakanci shi ba samu wani ya gani ba to come out with concrete evidence, but it's one that really saddens. So in my opening remarks, I think this is basically what everybody is feeling, and then we need to, even though we have to exercise patience and then await the outcome of the trial, because kamar yanda ka fadi tun farko dai granting bail wannan shi ba komai bane, bailable offenses ne, then I think the whole purpose of granting bail is to remedy the ya ake cewa kar a zo a punish wani our tun sentence wani tun ba convict me shi ba, can understand, because even by our laws and it is stated that what kowane accused is assumed to be innocent until proven guilty. Can understand. So they in this light na abinda ne ni zan dai gwadan kara gaya ma mutanenta da kuma kowa loved ones and neighbors ne a kara samu hankuri. Don the images we saw yesterday, or is it 2 days ago, was very disturbing.
Technical man su buga video na as we are discussing and
it was very disturbing. Yanda aka ma attack lawyer na ma ake ana bank kan lorin shi. It was very disturbing.
Esa ina ji reporting ya ready sa labar producer na ko da technical man su buga wannan video reporting da BEIN TV muka je wurin ne, yasa in yayi ready kai ka buga shi based on wannan kuma mun duba mu tattauna namu.
An bayar da belin waɗanda ake tuhumar akan CD 300 kowanne tare da sayuwa uku a ranar Lamis 22 ga watan Satumba shekara 2022. An kuma umarce waɗanda ake tuhumar da su nisance wurin da kisan ya faru. Jami'i mai shigar da karan ya bayyana cewa idan aka bayar da belin waɗanda ake tuhumar suna iya gwada hanyoyi da za a iya bin idan suna da alaka da aikata laifin don boye wasu shaidu daga hannun 'yan bincike. Har yanzu an rufe wurin da aka aikata laifin, an kuma kama mutum daya da ake zargi wanda ya kawo adadin waɗanda ake zargin zuwa 5. Da yake zantawa da dakin labarai na BEIN TV bayan an kammala shari'ar, wani daga cikin iyalan marigayiyar mai suna Alhaji Salat Abr ya yi kira ga jama'a musamman iyalan mamacin da su kwantar da hankalinsu yayin da ake ci gaba da shari'ar.
Abin da ya faru court yau shine an zo, both parties were present. Waɗanda ke an accuse su duka sun zo, sa'ilin kuma prosecutor kuma ya zo, that is prosecuting on behalf of ita Munira. To abin da ya kasance shine kowa ya present his side of the story. Amma yanzu akan ga court ya grant to bail to the sum of 300,000 Ghana cedis each. Sa'ilin kuma court na gwada kama they will move to a higher court wannan a effect wannan bill amma abinda ya kamata mutane son yanzu Ghana ga ba one offense da zama it's not bailable kowane offense Ghana yanzu is bailable amma ina so mutane su sani yanzu aka so ma case court nga bai da jurisdiction ya try case nga full isa ana so ma it's a process from nanga they move to a higher court wannan court dai zauna ya ci magana nan in full with case kama high court dai ci magana nga in full sai ana so mutane su fahimta cewa yanzu aka so ma process ba so ma komi sannan ba yanzu aka ya kamata a commit wani kama wani da wani su muka same su maganganun su na bai tafiya kwarar so they will be charged to in aka charging kana docket nan police ba su bar shi an kai police nan to Attorney General's office and kai docket to Attorney General office for advice so office Attorney General su advice ya case nan dai tafi sai ana son kowa ya samu hankuri cewa an ba su bail ba karshe magana kenan amma da yake wasu ba su sani ba suna ta mu an ba su bail case ya kare kenan da su gida no
dangane da batun binne marigayiyar Alhaji Dabiru ya nuna cewa nan ba da dadewa ba sarakunan bisa za su kammala shirye-shirye binne marigayiya Munira. An daga sauraron karar zuwa ranar 20 ga watan Oktoba shekara 2020.
To report nan da yake nan da BEIN TV ya put together da muka je wurin nan. Malam Hudu ka gande abinda malami ya faɗi batun bailable offenses da sauransu da kuma mutane su yi hankuri saboda yanzu ma aka fara issue nan kuma mun ya an ba su bail to the tune of 300,000 each su biyu ne isa issue sun nan da yake nan
maganan gade kamar yadda da zo na gabatar it's a bit people are very emotional kagan yadda an kai nan so barbaric ka understand amma ya zama dole tunda dai muna cikin law governing society ya zama dole ne a bi doka isa mutane mu so yi hankuri even though the wheels of justice they say grind slowly but tun ba wanda ke da evidence wanda ya aikata wanga duka suspect ne so it's very difficult to
ba za an kama me shi
cikin act na so it's very difficult
the difference now
suspicion kawai za yi ta yawo ta an kara mata saboda shi maybe people are even accusing kishiyar nan ma kuma na ji da aka kashe ta aka doke ta kuma to dakin kishiyar so the connection is difficult to connect kishiyar nan dai ita contract kin ita ta contract ma aka ja aka kashe ta ma finally sha kuma komo the body you see the whole thing that doesn't so ya hankuri mun san kamar yana da akwai an yi bakin ciki an yi rashin mutum kuma na san lawyer ne kuma ni na duban kamar da inda sun ya escalate investigation to cover her place of work ma da kanshi because custom is one of the institutions in there a lot of things happen there ka understand maybe one abu ya faru tana da wani information there ne ta release one information me shi ya zafi ban ce Kana so they should expand. So these are all possibilities.
It could be anybody.
Kana sana maybe kuma matan first wife nan kuma proud to wurin na ko wasu maganganu da ta yi.
Yeah, that's what
unfortunately she have been wani kuma ya katana shi aka zo aka hangin tare. So these are things it's a bit complex. So mutane mu na da ce su yi hankuri tunda da abin an kai court police yana cikin duba yanda za yi so allow the court process to take its own course. She su samu hankuri manya kuma su duba a samu a bisa
naji ai mutumin na wai yau haka sun zama su duba sarakai da kowa don police da sun hand over body sun ba su
koya muka yi mishi
assessment of the body sun post
abin ya riga ya faru dole ne a yi hankuri sai dai a duba a bisa sha ci gaba da rayuwa kamar yadda jiya hutuban malam yayi baki ciki ya zo in yazo bai fi mu zama mu dade da shi ba kana sana aje dai ita ma kuma ajalin ta yanda Allah kuma ya kira abin ga kadaran Allah kenan kamar yana ita ma da ta yi ta gamu da ubangiji ta kenan yasa hanya ya riga ya zo sai dai a yankuri kuma tuna da lawyer ya an fara ana activate the legal process mu duba da yanda za ka
tsoron
mutane ne saboda muna da history of unresolved murder cases in this country abin da ya bari mutane ke tsoro kamar wanga ma bai zuwa koina mu kan cite example su JB dan kwando mutun na cikin da aka bi su
Ahmed Swale
Gaduka ga matan ga da Gapuha na manta da sunanta.
Even this matter of
lecture, you see a myriad of cases in the bar resolved ba san yana so at the moment the mutane suka determine koko suka have one feeling kama wanga bezo ko ina. That is where you begin to see some of these attacks on the state authorities or the state operatives who are trying to do their work, and even the lawyer defending them. So sana kama mutu ya kashe mutu misa saka zoka defend me. But don't forget, come on, they are just mere suspicion. Okay, having us, and they suspecting. Come on, they are also entitled to be given legal, representation in court. As I book the carry there, so young kuri maluma the manya suzama ajia samu abisata alla de jikanta alla sata huta. It's very bad. Alla sa zafin the tabichiki terasunga alla sa alla yakakare zuni binta turu wanga alla ya jikanta. Kuma family na muna kara basu hankuri kamar so hankuri mun sai yana da ji amma ya zai dai hankuri no zai don ba ya aje arama kuma especially when ba evidence ko ina kamar when ake suspecting su suka yi is very 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 delicate. Esa musa hankuri mu duba yanda dai law nan zai kashe
Allah mafitawo
to kamar yanda dai shi senior man na ya gaya kaga dispensation da muke cikin ga experiment ne mu muka decide kuma muna son rule of law ka understand ko, and so because of that na ya kamata mu samu hankuri mu bi due process kamar yana da aka sani kamar da na fara gaya maka tun farko. This whole process of billing Ghana is to prevent irreparable damage kamar da aka saba fadiwa cikin law, even though we are lay people ka understand is to prevent irreparable damage.
Sana goda ma prisons mu ma yayi very choked because of eating
ka gane yayi
bail muta ba bail wasu bana
yawanci kuma zaka ga kama an yi sauri to yanzu kamar yanda dai muka sani su suspects ne ba mu san irin evidence da ake da shi ba shi mu ce kamar tunda dai an tun kama su a kulle su la Allah kwana kadan zuwa gaba tunda ba ma fara kesin ba aka fara cin case shi mu zo mu ga kamar me sun yi innocent to wannan lokacin da muka sa su cikin ga kaga ba abin da damu yi mu compensate su for shi bane ka gane shi da mu yi mu samu hankuri kuma ka gan shi harkan bilin ga yanda muka san shi it is not used for punitive measures ka understand it is given on conditions, and the conditions are what ya kamata an san kamar me shi nan in ana neman me shi ya komo for abin ga a cike sannan an samu me shi ya komo ka understand so wanda aka saba ana hana su bail ne me irin wanda ke flight risk an ga me shin ga an sake shi ba san yanda za a same shi kuma ba kila a zo ana neman shi ya gudu ya bar gari ko ya gudu ya shiga wani wuri a zo ana neman shi ba samun shi irin wannan mutane ake hana su bail to kaga irin wanga maganan ga kuma yanda yake tafiyan ga ba irin wannan bane so dai ni dai abinda zan kara cewa ne shi mu yi hakuri mu duba yanda trajectory nan zai ti. For this one I am very confident in our services kamar na san kamar me insha Allah they will get to the bottom of it because there is so much passion inflated into it ka understand and so
ce kamar ka wani MP ma an kashe shi ba
ka gani
ba ga still up till now they one of
haka nan ne ka gan ba wani bi kuma kamar yadda na fa tunda magana na fadi maka tun farkon abin ga opening remarks nan kenan kaga it all boils down to evidence and who are the people who are willing to come out to present those evidence, because you can't tell me in ka duba lokacin da abin ganga ya faru this bizarre situation ya faru ga it was barely 9 p.m. It was exactly 9 p.m. that the brother got the information and he came to the crime scene. Can't understand, which means what the whole thing happened even way before that time. Before kana duba kame ayi a kashe mutum har a jame shi a shiga cikin dakin wani. Ka get it takes so much time. I'm not a criminal, so I don't know. And she's a full blown woman. Ba kaman yaro bane billahi ce kai ka daga kace ka aje ka gane ai. So mu doke shi ma ba mutum guda yi ba. Shi za su yi cube su kama me shi su tire me shi cikin dakin ga ka gane ai. It is not something that will be done just in a jiffy. Ka gane firan nake maka ai. So definitely I'm sure they aka tuttuna da kyau and they will unravel some things kamar yadda Mr. Hood ya fadi ya kamata a wide
scope da investigation da SERIE za su duka but kan body na sun yi na jin sun ba family ma yanzu family su za su decide ko dai sun bisa shi rana ko sun gira har dai case ma ya kare samu to wannan yau za su decide nam
to yi na ban yanga ya musa abin da su yi amma dai musan kamar autopsy is conclusive and it will only take so much time to kagane ai. So far, I'm sure they have done that.
No, police they hand over body. You have a family. So family they decide now.
So wannan su
magana. Abin da suke so cikin investigation na body sun gane inda maybe aka stab ntama da sauran duka sun take all the one. So sun hand over body. Sauran family ya decide ranar da zai kwado sun gira har dai a kare case na san wanda yayi sannan su bisa ko dai wasu dai sun ce da sun bisa ba. Saboda don case na ba san how long zai
it may travel 3, 4, 5 years.
Exactly. So kasan mu musulmai muna da ta'adan da muka saba da shi. Ta'adan mu kuma is based on Quranic scriptures and the Sunnah of Rasul. I think they an kare abin da ya kamata ya zama necessity. What they can do is to bury her and await the outcome of the investigation and the prosecution. Can understand? So in a nutshell, in comment the pose question but bail na muki. So I don't want to delve so much onto that. So need ankuri desamba mutani. The fact that an grant bail is not conclusive. They check among case and ankari ba. Yanzu ma da fara magana. Ka understand ai.
Sannan mun ji wasu kuma audio do ne ban ji ba ya je viral batun an kama wasu suspects batun wanda an gane wanda ya kashe wa masan ko kun ji wannan kuma ba.
To wannan dai ban
social media ya blow.
Wannan dai ni ban ji ba
amma wannan mutane kuma Africa advice su maybe so careful wani ya zama yayi audio kawai.
Haka ne. And this is a very sensitive situation, very sensitive issue. So speculations it's not but there's something we can't control. We don't live in isolation. We live in a society. So obviously people will have things to say. I understand. So my advice probably will go to the security service and I would advise them to widen the scope of their investigation. Kara dai duba kaman cikin gida aka fa abin ya faru sha ko duka ya focus cikin gida. It could be that yes ita da rival na ma suna da issue ko ita da mijinta suna da issue but when you exploit wannan can understand he commit this heinous crime hoping that it will be ko ya ake check percent ko the correct legal term nan kenan abin ga alibi can understand so that the person will go away with it. So I think basically that's what we should do. And also I would want to stress a little bit forward and say that there's the security situation in the country of late is becoming very
Musa daga duba next topic mashima batun kashi no ne wa killings ne samu zamu do ke da wrap up kan wanga batun.
So in a nutshell shikenan hankuri da mu ba su yan family nan both families of the bride and the groom so ya hakuri da even the other abin ganna the rival nan kenan ko the other bride su da hankuri kamata su samu don I'm sure there are various perspectives to this matter and I'm sure in the being a long run and we'll all get to a desired conclusion that we are all expecting.
To jama'a halwa yau muna kan al'amuran gari inda muke duba labaran da ya shafi kasar mu Ghana cikin wanga mako so far dai mun duba batun marigaya Munira Moro kenan inda aka je court sakaran jiya aka ba suspects na ko dai accused persons na bail inda yanzu ma aka gwada za a fara case ne sa muna fata dai case din inshallah an je a gane wanda ya aikata wanga mugun aiki kuma family bin duka sai mu ce koyan ku family mijin nan da family matan Moro duka sai mu ce koyan kuri a bari loan na it take its course batun bail nan kuma dai kuma kaman kan da panelists na suka fadi bai gwada kaman an sake kowa ko dai case ya mutu kenan sai yanzu ma za a fara case nan yanzu attorney general ya zo cikin da sauransu an samu lawyers da za su zo su duba wannan issues sai sa kuma kuna da wani ra'ayi batun issue gade insha Allah ku ya ku kawo kan WhatsApp line mu da Facebook page mu kuma muna stream wurin nan muna duba issue batun Munira Moro kenan muna jin family kuma yanzu za su decide batun gawan ko dai an bisa ko dai sun gira hal a kare case nan muna fata dai an bisa before wannan da yanzu family ke meet su da sarakai bisa duka community bisa da community mun ga musulmai duka ma suka yi rashi yasa muna fata da su make wannan informed decision nan ayya bisa ta she was a pursue case nan kuma yasa muna kan al'amuran gari da muke duba issues ne da Rabiu Muftahu da Hudu Yusuf ni masuna na Jama Muhammad wanga lokaci kuma mun duba na da issue shi ma batun kashi na mun gani this week kuma mun san wade ba san su da wani irin past history of this kashi da abubuwa killings da abubuwa har ma yanzu ana suspect ritual killing ana kashe security men da abubuwa sannan wani NGO Foundation for Security Development first da kenan where has indicated that the recent killing of security men in the Upper West Regional Capital is due to the neglect of the police and other security apparatus in the country. In a statement to Ghana Web, Foster stated that because of the low rate of crime in Wa, the security agencies lost focus, which led to the infiltration of criminals. Bottom line, the first day soon I got a saboda Wa, so they were quite hankali wuri na our security men in Ambasu sa hankalin su wurin su sa su maintain security ko law and order wurin na yasa ya bari yanzu muke ganwa ana kashe mutane amma in the same vein kuma sun praise IGP kuma ko the police service for after the incident ga sun kawo sojoji ko police dai zan ce security men policemen they up to 315 da suke maintain security wurin kuma za su investigate issues na yasa shi muke so mu duba batun wa kuma dai kan da ake kashe mutane wasu ma na cire parts su da sauransu for alleged maybe ritual wanga reasons ko wani abu ritual reasons don an kashe wani an cire liver shi ko wani abu but the sure it is because of transplant ko wani abu maybe me shi zai doki yayi da wani abu na maybe bukatan shi zai biya bari fara da kamala Muftahu na
to gaskiya dai batun wa'anga is also another disturbing issue kamar da na fara da zo it's a wide range of security issues that we need to look at dotted and spread along the country. Can understand why in particular nga ni na taba zama wa UDS na je
okay
na Vrongo campus, but we used to frequent wa on programs and even our congresses. Can understand and then in this particular community in Daki in conversation number is I would want to agree with what Foster has said that it's because a quite perceived serenity chicken angwan ya kawo me negligence. In my time in Bamao, I've not really observed, so to say, any security posts that we can really brag of. And Bamao is a whole village and it's mostly populated by students from the UDS WA campus, now University for Business Development. Can't understand that. But then I think this is an issue that has festered for long. Even though I think the markets have always pointed out, even though killings were not necessarily associated. Can't understand that. Because in my stay in Bamao, we've had people whose motorbikes have been snatched from them in broad daylight and in the evenings, in the wee hours. You don't even walk alone. Kagane, akwai footpath, long footpath, students KB from Bamao community to campus.
Okay. And
they have lodged complaints several times of their valuables being snatched from them at knife points.
Attention,
Kagani. So maybe anaga kama me mutane nga bakini. Probably didn't get the necessary attention it needed until it is now full blown. Can understand how is the point of medanga. Kagetai. So I think it is something that I also want to commend the IGP, the Tura 305 ko 350 police akakai wurin. But I think it's a little bit too late. Can't understand because this is about 8 to 10 baba ni mutani da aka kashe. Can't understand and I don't want, I think even though it is true that the security situation in the country can be tied kama yanda naji Sani Adib ina magana kan Joy Prime kama abenga because there's the unemployment situation in the country is skyrocketing. Maybe some of these things abenga yana push mutani into quick ways of getting money, command the couple the rituals. Can't understand. All of these are markets and their possibilities. But then we don't have to sit back and say that what's because people are unemployed and they are looking for quick monies and they will resort to rituals. We can't do anything about it. I think in a nutshell, I think the way forward and the way forward is that the security agencies are down on ground. They are gathering the necessary information and data they can, and then inshallah we'll get to an end to all of this.
Lack of development, come on, well, something as basic as street light,
exactly.
Because these things thrive in darkness. Street light, the Sorahanyam be the Kyoduka. Yeah, contribute to some of these things.
Well, I can't speak for the entirety of WA, but Skagan from UDS Campus Road and Halzu Abama is a very nice road. It's not asphalted, but then Kaga street lights.
So that's the problem.
So they wouldn't look at Dufuni. Can't understand. And these are security markets. And it even stretches far, not beyond even these ritual killings. Terrorists can even take advantage of this. Can't understand. Shugo do situation there for Rudaga Bodam Pagana. When we have Burkina Faso running into the country because Anadamu Sutawon Gari, terrorists, bandits, Kagania, and all of these places and are weak points that terrorists can take advantage
they are
of.
Closer to the border.
Exactly. Can't understand. When we send the borders in Ghana Suki, very porous. So if you don't boost security to an extent that it discourages people, all of this can serve as breeding grounds.
I think so coming to key final thoughts. What is all the matter? Who do you see? Now, I can't follow issues.
I don't follow issues. I'm a commander, brother, and everybody. Security in this country is somehow
lax.
Can't understand, particularly in the northern sector. Kaduba, the development gap between the southern and the northern sector. They're not the one to say. It's like Basuchki. Can't understand. Do I there for the street lights?
It's a ceremonial street.
Can't understand. So even between terrorists and Gaduka, Karada Lake cow. Because where we are, bam with the borders. Anybody can just walk in and do whatever, perpetuate whatever crimes they want, they intend to, and get away with it. Can't understand. For the police beefing up the numbers there, do we have to wait?
That's the question.
Do we have to wait? Always wait. We are always firefighting events. I mean, before we IGP will go there. Do we have to wait? At least there should be some markings and give you some indication that okay, in Gwanga, you have to drive a long stretch before because we can meet security posts. Could have only container money. Can't understand. But we body to their faith and all this may help. Before we beef up the men there trying to show the cameras that we are doing something. May help. I mean, I'll be father over. Can't understand. Tied to it too is a suspected a ritual because they don't just kill. Some parts of the bodies are always missing. So it is an indication that points to the fact that it's possibly ritual killing. Most of them Gari is after, but definitely this is not the way to go for having a wolf. Can't understand. So
there are 350 policemen.
350 policemen.
They inspire any confidence, King Gari.
Are they going to be there permanently, or and they case with temporarily, then they will withdraw, or what?
Maybe soon for the time being, for the interim. So yes,
they should look at more permanent arrangement than this, sending them there and then just.
I understand they are there to gather
intelligence. 350 men to gather intelligence. Let's take our security because we can do our security in Garingade from Accra to Lubo to everywhere. But we are lacking behind security. We are not simply on top of our game. Because they should look at more permanent arrangement than this, sending them there. The lighting system, even within number, if you are driving from the district capital to some of the communities, you have a bad street like Koina. So people who are there, they are left to so the islands would go any. When you go Garize Musu one banner, it's easy. So the islands will can't understand that. So I also use this opportunity to encourage the community guys they should form some vigilante to help each other because the police alone cannot do it. They can't be everywhere all the time. Can't understand. But when they mobilize themselves, and they become each other's keeper. Anga wani foreign foreigner anga kama no wanga afya a monitor domba ngwanga yekiba kana, because sometimes it's possible and afterwards ura rene allow commit wanga crime sha uche. So once you are vigilant yourself and you are organized, 1 year old no kuna kugana kama no wanga ba kuni, possibly was his mission. Try to interrogate the Ghana, come on, I hand it over to the police. Come on, no, this guy, we don't trust his intentions for being here. It's I interrogate since she further. I'm under my police call me, call the time, so they can't do it alone. Look at the numbers. Can't understand. It's rather unfortunate that these things are happening, but on a broader scale, national scale, the police should sit down and really do some mapping and see where their men are not too visible and see what they can do to contain money. So I also how many communities soon contribute to my get a post, and the police cannot even send staff there. And they are always concentrated in Accra, Accra, Kumasi, and all the metropolitan areas. Amasora rural areas, and they say so they should really set up and see how, on a more permanent basis, they can deploy this community policing concept money. Get the people from the neighborhood themselves, train them, and give them some kind of capacity to be able to pick some intelligence and feed you, so that you are always proactive and be ahead of events. But come on, I mean, they Faru before that, because sent 350 Mekamaza, President is Gari and COVID. It's
reactionary.
It's still a little too late.
But you didn't read the messages. Being under the sound coming, then the final thoughts on cooking issues in there. Aruwa Junior, God bless you, bro. It is true. The case is very complex. Come on, brother. Muftawi for this. Anoko Muhammad Saidu Ziyad Shimo, please, I want you to use your platform to advise our Zongurians to be careful with what they say in public and on the media. A lot of people are using the media to post fake stories about these issues, which is very bad. And that so-called Ajia Burkina, I don't know who she is though, should be called on the media to explain everything further, because it seems everything happened in her presence. One son, who is this Hajarat Burkina that take for the Rama? Whatever it is, the Nasan police, they should investigate issues in them. We should advise our Mutanimu, so yes, to understand. Maganganunda, sometimes especially in this era of social media, Mutanis be careful. And your police are a peak in Kama because of what you say, the allegations you make.
They should be careful. But Kaka was Maganganu. May help.
Nam.
But may prevent Mishi carry a karama. At the end of the day, we'll come back to hand to some of these things. Mishi may be able, maybe Lala innocent. I'm only other eye because of Magana and Kaina.
Yeah, Zoe hunting.
So
what we do a come between Wanga, the police especially focus on police security issue in the country in general. Yeah, security situation unresolved murder cases. No mutaninga asuma murder cases kenan. How soon Zaya investigate? So they were in Yazama common police personnel Hakakashi. Kaduwa one they are very swift. Any other individual, a whole MP Halio Baya Kashi, journalist Ahmed Swali Shima Halio Baya, Shiki Kawe in Wangamutani, they don't have trust in the process and investigation. Maybe AJ court. Yes, I'm Mutaniki, sometimes you Wangari, I don't soon I can come on and consider come on Kana Center okay. May if police use you as inspire no confidence in processes, especially in Akakashi Mutu now.
Kagaba, a large chunk of this problem is not because of the legal regime we are in. Can't understand that, because these law courts we have decided to experiment with are not law courts of people's whims and caprices. Can't understand. They are law courts of what? Evidence. So when they get the evidence at the end of the day, she's a Gari, she's a Samudi. Can't understand that. But the problem with evidence also comes with intelligence. Intelligence and intelligence gathering. Now there are security services in GIA. I read a news item where Dr. Hassan Ayariga on Joy Prime, she laid allegations that, and I think his allegations are well founded, when he says that the security services have become, rescue points for party boys. These people go in there without the necessary training.
Okay, can I intake and recruitment?
Exactly.
Okay.
Can understand that? And so it's difficult to gather the necessary and adequate intelligence as is what expected of them. Can get it?
Oh, na mayanka bakinka even MPs ma suna buga kirji to ce ona kai party people na kana sa cikin security.
So can understand
national security na.
Because in za mu narrow situation ga mu zo kan magana wanga. The news in recently, I think that was just last week, they break out and youth in the community came out, boasted and beat their chests in front of the chief's palace and requesting that one about 2 weeks and they will fish out the criminals. So what does this tell you? This tell you that they live with the criminals and they know the criminals.
This is a whistleblower now.
So whistleblower, one day they gather intelligence, and now how has the person been able to use these whistleblowers and the people who know how in the community? Because in vigilante groups sort of to say are boasting that they will be able to fish out these people. How more the intelligent officer? So the issue is not you can send 2,000 police people there. If the capacity is not up to task, they will not get it. Can't understand. So this is some of the reasons why we have unresolved murder cases, because we have a lapse in the way we gather intelligence. And I think it's high time we start looking at some of these things.
And this era that advance now, the forensics,
exactly. If you go elsewhere, people are proud to wear the uniform because you know what it entails. But it's not the same with this country. Mesa.
Perception in Naga.
Why is there such perception? Can't understand. So the council soon appoints another council. When was that? I think I should be careful about how I make this Arabian go. But on Oyarifa Road, I went to Oyarifa to visit a friend, and I was coming back in a Trotsky. I don't know if it's actually a policeman or not, but there was someone who stopped us on the road. I think the driver stopped to drop somebody on the road. I think, and for the purpose of media and I need to be careful. No, I think it's a playful joke he has with the driver, and I'm not even sure it's a policeman because he wasn't in the uniform. Can't understand. He was wearing a normal T-shirt and his trousers, and he went to the driver's side. I was asking him, "Who prepares wine?" And the driver showed him, like pointed, and then he asked him again, "Who go through wine?" Can't understand. These are all jokes to perceive that to portray the kind of things that are happening in the system about some of these agencies. So even if policeman wears the uniform, goes to look for information from someone, people are not forthcoming with the information because of the perception they have for the police. And the only way we can curb or resolve some of these perceptions is what? Beefing up security and then building up their capacity. Can't understand. We have to look at the kind of resource we have in terms of police people. When I say resource now, I'm referring to their capacity. We need to rebuild their capacity, change the whole perception of people and even the police people themselves. Can't understand that. Thankfully, I think the new IGP is on course with that, but I don't think he's having enough support. He gets enough support. I think because I don't know why there are DCOPs
support.
And others.
I
mean, people with like minds. I'm not sure there are people with like minds in the police service.
There are a lot
How
of
many are there?
Damparis in there.
How many are there? Why is it that there's a problem in Kofori, the Dampari has to run there? There's a problem in Dampari has to run there.
Actually, pass one assurance.
But if there are people like Dampari, that shouldn't be the case.
I don't know.
I think it's all about capacity. But when it comes to the police, I sometimes feel for them because we expect so much from them.
Limited.
We expect so much from them, but we pass the needed resources to be able to do their job. Can't understand that. Yanzu 21st century policing is not like those days. Can't understand that. We need to invest in intelligence gathering. More of intelligence gathering. She is a help. Can't understand that. Also, it brings back the issue about town and country planning and all that. With the way we live, man. What happened na faro you hardly even know.
Because mutani maybe community wants to cooperate with the police.
We don't
ba information ba so the police na ya aje ma aje amba 100,000 aje wanda zai ba da information amma still ba fitowa.
Kana sana.
Mutani na soro. I don't know, that's what I think.
The whole issue is baby ma ba ga me shi fa sam. Da ko akwai wasu wurare kai ka zama wurin kaman 1-2 hours mutum ma bai wuce haka ba. Certain environment wasu communities kai ka zama wurin for 2 hours ko abin ga rago ma bai wucewa. So irin wurare haka mutum ya je commit wani crime ya wuce da shi get away with it. The police will never know. Because the worst ngaduba soon now they have really invested in, you know, technology. Ko magana ya faru 20-30 years ago, and they said they will do forensics and get a person arrested. Trust me, they will do it. Amma muna za zo atambaya mutane da ke wurin me kowa ya ce bai ga wani mutum haka ba ko ba ga ne bi ba shikenan magana ya kai. Kana sana. So they should be looking at investing in more
maybe I'm far the Ghana card saboda ayya
cikin system technology, proper technology.
A capture kowa.
Kana sana, a capture kowa. But at the end of the day now, when you broaden the horizon, you are talking about, you see, this country and the whole system is highly informal. Kuma anything highly informal, managing it is difficult. Kona shigana after kona komi. It's very difficult to fight crime in such an environment which is so highly disorganized, not planned properly.
Ghana card in Nigeria,
for instance, when you go to Abuja and Co, I mean, addressing system, everything is on point. So when you are doing investigation and you need even addresses to track, it's there. I'm not getting another direction. Not going by where I be a kama. What container? What I said there, be inspired. You know, so confusing.
So it's a whole.
And we expect police to do a lot. Meanwhile, they are very much under resourced. So the bottom line is that we the citizens will also have a role to play in being vigilant and see when we fish out certain foreign or suspicious characters, we should be able to chill them and investigate why they are in the neighborhood and all that. This is a matter, but it's sure maybe I'm sure Kora one day maybe if it is a contract killing money, the person is far away from somewhere. Is where ya kata wanga babarik abinga yewuchi. Kana sana. Maybe they can shigo ama they can share to make open there. Ko na shiga ko ina. We are not security conscious at all. Maybe at the academic side, I inculcate some of these into the syllabus to make citizens security conscious. Kana sana. Dan the muke kawe woni kaga woni ma mutuma kana so quickly you run to the police. Ona me hu bi wa house say I said oyo shazo ana binchike me sha Ghana abin da kawo shi. Amma yanzu dai kowa ta shiga foreigner know we are all in it. So the whole thing is the police sometimes na pitying. We expect a lot from them, but
all the time
it's not physical karifiaka. It's technology and investing in serious machinery to be able to dictate some of these things. Can't understand that. Maybe come on, also community you can even look at CCTV cameras. Can't understand that. Hidden ones. How would you know? Come on, natanga faruga. Kakashi mutum from Karungu meshi halka meda halka ya kadagashi. Yeah, take no less than 1 hour. Or 2.
Ace maka mun je na batun muniran da ke mun je unguwan la abekan na kaga unguwan nan ma shekawa ya kai me shi zuwa laifta ba gane don it's a community kana ga ana yanzu haka ma an barricade wurin kowa bai da ya zama crime scene don na wanda so wani ya zo wani haka cikin unguwanni haka kowa bai ganshi ba amma ka san
the way we are even moving towards settlement mu kuma na kaga da na compound mutane da yawa yanzu wani yayi samu je ya kebe kanshi shi kire shi da matar shi da so if something is happening in the house ma next door ma bai sani we built high like the Chinese wall around so wani ya jump yana ciki yana kashe mutum
don gidan gate kana gate guda ne aka kulle kuna yin sa shi kenan
kana sana so me shi ya shiga lock an yi abin da za ya kare after
the shift ta ya wuce ba ka sai
you didn't even know
na fana wasu ga da kan shi
so Allah dai jara much as we are bashing the police. I think government has a role to play to ensure that some equipments. It's not just about the numbers. I recruitment and dewa, but our complement is with investment in technology. Because sometimes Come on, so America, the way they have invested in so much technology, when I come with some, it's a whole investment. It's about 2 men, physical men number. They should look at
technology.
CCTV
cameras. Like recently, Munga Anka was Rose Mu answers 50 one and so chicken communities and the kinds of American one near Hakanga, feeder roads and then Duka.
One of my people times to Ghana.
Now,
baby, what I want to Ghana.
Cada day she got changed at the Mutani, some of the privacy issues. I'm a day in Gwani, they have Fiachi.
Maybe street box in Aki Sasana, you can
capture. Yeah, when I bury a lot of I can name a police.
Police, we expect a lot from them, but honestly,
the street lighting and the Muka
is like beating them and asking them not
street light. I don't think it should cost us much in the
we pay street light levy in our electricity bills.
It's a final was a issue.
So, neither I still maintain that we need to build capacity and ensure that there's enough availability of the security people in the communities.
That's the question.
Oh.
Well,
if the government prioritizes security, I think they should be able to pay them, because there's a lot we waste on other things that we should and are not even worth mentioning in this on this platform. Can't understand that. So in a nutshell, I've been thinking we need to make sure that there's availability and the people we are putting there are well resourced and have the capacity to use the resources provided them. I think in a nutshell, that's what we should be looking at. I want to follow up with an example. Bansan I've been the day faru obadi. Kamadi yanda shiega yatundazu kamang. If there are communities, you find community people will come together and provide a whole setup, and they are requesting for police people.
Neighborhood watchdogs,
not neighborhood. They are requesting for security post, and they are requesting for security services to be.
Container money.
Can't understand and they don't get it. Nkaje Nima. Recently we had a crisis over there. Back in Gotham, there's some container over there. I don't know. Kagana, this is a serious security point. Kagetai. But I don't know. It's been long I've been there. But as to look at the kit, the kid Nasaba Nekis over Harzua, Bantabagan one police go with the Urimba.
Tam the kid.
Basus over Kagana. And these are hotspots. We know that what crime is easily first Kagani are committed around these areas, and we don't have. I mean, how more in the Mamuka San come me Kagani? But recently, Mutu anga kashin gada aka kashin nes and gada mankesi mengukuma. Kagani I go.
Mutani circle and
the pastor.
So Kagani so security and a large chunk of the blame also. Now come, I being a citizen remaining, because we are not security conscious. Because if security services and they approach you under this notion, some protect our own, and we are not forthcoming with information. Amasakani muchkinjuna muna zamu being a base someone they yabin. Kagetai, ama we try to cover for the person. If there come vigilantes and that's we are able to bring forth those people, but then to give that information to the police people, we are a little bit relaxed. So we need to also change our attitude as people in the community. We need to decide what we really want. If we are saying we want safety,
we should blow it. Sometimes guys are mutani na so yeah, they for the police. I'm all chuk come on. She actually, I mean the mutani kesoro. One of the downside in the whistleblowers acting like in so, mutani so they were about to trust police. Ne yeje bash one information again. I have told us because I feel police in there protecting ka. Could the police service to protect? They kaje kaba one information aka.
So do kana chicken capacity building then. In police nan be sa aiki shi ba be da wannan capacity nan. Definitely abin da zai faru kenan. Ka get ta.
Final was ga kan wanga.
I think Crystal Blowers Act and Nayafi are very yaki. So that the only way the citizenry can meet the police halfway in investigations is when we attempt to blow the whistle, because things will happen. We may have certain information that the police may not have. So soon after the crime has been committed, just those who are farmer days, so that yankai. But individual citizens within those communities may have certain first-hand information there will help the police in their investigation. It's one side, and it's very necessary the citizens also try and volunteer information. At the end of the day, the law secures them. I mean, gives them some security to protect their identity and all that. So, just But the police on their own cannot really do anything. Can't understand that. So book the car, the government should look at, you know, when they send budgetary allocations requesting for money, government should be able to give them the money they want. But me, I still talk about investing in, you know, technology. Can't understand cameras all over the place. That will bring down Abenga. At the community level, if they are chiefs or the opinion leaders, they should organize themselves as youth and form some vigilante groups or watchdog committee or whatever. So that at the end of the day, when they see somebody who is suspicious of a character, they should be able to investigate the person. One and I held the police. One uncle was to 350 men. They can't be there forever. They will certainly withdraw at a point in time. But moving forward now, you on your own.
Now maybe under normal circumstances, maybe community link.
Now we're getting
one at the Girmako.
One at the Girmako. So we should help the police halfway so that they together, because security is a shared responsibility. Both the government has a role, the police as an institution has a role. We the individuals who have a role to play. Can't understand that.
Hello, who do you see? Can I see the Rabiu? Muftau kenan suna kawo ra'ayi su da batun issues da muke discuss labaran da shafi kasan mu Ghana. So far dai mun duka dai batun kashe-kashe ne, Munira Moro issue ta kesin ta kuma mun duba kuma wa kuma inda ake kashe-kashe mutane. Muna fata dai police yan tsaro sun tashi da su yakin su yanda ya kamata saboda su save lives mutane, kuma su ensure kamar there is law and order, there is security, saboda mutane will not live in fear. Yanzu haka na san wa haka, a lot of people live in fear saboda because of what is happening. Muna fata the police service led by the IGP Dampare sun duba su maganci wannan issues na, at least they su inspire wani confidence cikin mutane ayya mutum zai fita waje ma ko da dare ne ko da rana ko wani lokaci dai ne ya fita without any fear. Muna duban kan issues nan kenan al'amuran gari. Yanzu wala haka dai kuma kun ku kawo issues ake kiran shi comments ku da zai enrich discussions nan. So far da mun read na wasu mutane kuma wanda ke duban Facebook muna stream live, haka YouTube kuma muna stream live ku kawo. Yanzu haka dai zamu duba batun president mu Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo yayi wani magana da batun ya celebrate Dr. Kwame Nkrumah da ya je UN General Assembly daga New York daga United Nations. Shi zamu duba da batun na san it ties into ideological differences in the both parties ke da shi. Mun san tamu NDC dai tamu 2009 kenan former president, the late president Atamus yake celebrate 100 years na Atamus. Yes, he declare kama 21st September is a Founders Day. Tankan Nkrumah kadeni apostrophe nan na zo sannan na Founders Day. Amma 10 years later 2019 kuma aka amend law nan kuma yazo ya zama 21st September ne ya zama Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. Shi Founders Day na wannan ya encompass founders da yawa, Big Six nan da sauransu. Shine 4th August da aka form UGCC ya zama Founders Day. Isa issues nan dai bakan fufama President Akufo-Addo dai he spoke highly of Nkrumah da ya je General Assembly daga New York. Nan na son read dai kadan dai batun da shi wannan da will guide our discussion. We zoom into the larger issue of whether it's founders sauransu duka dai apostrophe issue nan. It's a way President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the 5th president under the 4th Republic, has celebrated Ghana's first president, Sachifu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He did so at the annual gathering of the world leaders in New York for the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, which started on September 19 with the 2022 meeting being the 77th General Assembly. But he didn't during being the president here for this. And when Mr. President, I'm contributing to this debate on a date that has special significance for us in Ghana. 21st September is the date we mark the birth of our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He would have been 113 years old today, and it is worth recalling on this day the driving force of his political career, which was to contribute to the birth of United Africa, that is United States of Africa. We recognize today more than ever before the importance of the strength and unity of Africa, and we are working to shed that image of a helpless, hapless continent. Akufo-Addo stress. It's about father the kademala Muftau, batun ra'ayin kade batun ishunga. I think it's it's wanga they coming from the president. It's very well. You know the care on the president. You wanga magana. Maybe yeah, but wasunda suke ganka maybe party especially MPP anti Nkrumah da sauransu na maybe yeah le wasu abubuwa kadan bar mutane su sake stance su de to mu duka ba mu ya mu align to one ideological wanga mu have differences mu da abubuwa. I'm coming from the president kama yana president to Nkrumah de yeah but even Nkrumah is wani wanga kama at least president ya recognize Nkrumah on this big platform kama General Assembly in the United Nations.
Hakanani the president General Assembly acknowledge Nkrumah. But I think it has to be tied in the right perspective. That matter moduba shi chicken context na. Whilst there was a myriad of conversation that he had. He spoke about. Can't understand. There are lots of issues he discussed. He eloquently espoused during his speech. Can't understand. And yes, he mentioned Nkrumah. I think a lot of people. The country has been so polarized to the extent that we tend to look at things in Nkrumahist and anti-Nkrumahist factions, as you said. But then, if you knew the man Akufo-Addo enough and you follow historians, you would know that Nkrumah himself, in his political upbringing, is an Nkrumahist.
Nana-Addo Kina.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that's Nana-Addo rather.
Yeah.
He himself, in his political upbringing, is an Nkrumahist.
Okay.
There was this famous writer with Modern Ghana. I think he's still there. In 2010, he wrote. His name is Harry Johnson Agri. He wrote about Nana-Addo being an Nkrumahist, and he cited examples from even childhood. Look at President Akufo-Addo, and he gave an example. Akufo-Addo, I think someone in UGCC in Nankina, Nkrumah used to come to their Ginazua Gidansu, Rafanishi, JB Dankwa. Can't understand. So, one time and Akufo-Addo took a liking to Nkrumah. Can't understand. In the writing, he further went on to say that even in his Legondis, Akufo-Addo in his Legondis,
current president in Mugabe.
Yes, he was so Nkrumahist to the extent that Anna Kabi and Shimani.
Wow.
Can't understand.
That would be an interesting reading.
Yes, Anna Kabi and Shimani to the extent that the NLM Suka House having President Nkrumah in 66. She would have come to Legon. Wow. Can't understand. So this is something people don't know. Maybe because of his political inclination.
The ideologies, the sorrows.
In the third Republican election, he was so pro Nkrumah to the extent that he aligned himself to the party that was known as the Nkrumahist party.
Wow.
Can't understand. However, she didn't really see eye to eye in terms of those lines, because the father was very pro Dankwa-Buzia tradition, Kagani. So I think this is something people are not really privy to. For me, Bezo as a surprise to me, because I knew the guy has a little bit Nkrumahist. Even Kaduba's style of leadership, he's a little bit autocratic, as people have associated to Nkrumah. Kagani. You know that when he well, you can say you see, I will still carry my way. Can't understand that. And that was what was really associated with Nkrumah to the extent that Anaga Kamon and liberate Ghana when he was pushed away. But I think the focus of the conversation should really be, he celebrated Nkrumah. Years on after Nkrumah, what have we achieved? Have we been able to realize some of the dreams Nkrumah dreamt at that time? Can't understand that. If the answer is no, then what are we doing to make sure that we achieve that, especially knowing now that we know that our president is especially an Nkrumahist, and it has a little bit of Nkrumahist character in its political upbringing. Can't understand that. So I think that should be the focus of the discussion.
It's about holiday, Founders Day, that's
exactly.
I don't know. Most are money history lessons come from.
Babu Shaka, politicians in Muruka de BEIN as I encourage you. You see some amount of Nkrumahism in them. BEIN as I Nkrumah stand store. Can't understand that. History in the Akabamu de Halzua Yo de Musan Kamang Bashikere I can be body. But she lead fighting no. Can't understand that. Halde Mukozo Mukasamu independence. But whatever he might have said at UN General Assembly, I don't think that. I think he was just being diplo because we are black. Asanga and she status ya uchi. So he just want magana negative about Nkrumah at the UN level. I have my diarrhea.
You can't be.
Ala about Nkrumah be je nyama wurini. Am I just working there nyama? We are here. We know what they say about Nkrumah. Before even 4th August declaration, we know what they said. Kuma kadara Allah ya waka ni. The best way we can celebrate Nkrumah now is to visit his ideas, all the things he wanted to do that he couldn't do, and begin to do them, so that our city will be free. All these companies that will collapse,
industries in
Nanduka, we should bring them back to honor him. Nkrumah was miles or millions years away ahead of his contemporaries. So this business about founders apostrophe S or S apostrophe or whatever, it's neither here nor there. For me, you and the AJ Maganana, there's somebody AJ negative about. They know Nkrumah, so they will struggle to marry his position and what they know him for. So yeah, some of my idol and he praise Nkrumah at that platform. I'm not going to we have said what he said about Nkrumah here.
It's possible.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So believe
we have followed all this conversation by over. We know where they stand. Can't understand that. So in celebrating Nkrumah now, his ideas are as relevant as they were in those days. That we need to visit all the things that the plan, his 7-year development plan that he had, all the plans that he had as a leader. Let's revisit, and begin to see where did we go wrong, and begin to change the narrative. But about this business about the city is falling, we are over importing. Nkrumah saw it. We were producing a lot of the things that we are importing now.
Match factory,
can you talk about tomato factory and all that? Shoe factory.
When they were specifically
look at the Chaskele they are playing with Commander Sugar Factory. And produced by you know, like import sugar cane to be able to feed the factory. No, there was a loan that was advanced by the Indian government, 24 million euro or dollar, I'm not too sure, for plantation. You know, like local people have planted or cultivated the sugar cane. Could I tell you one type of factory na be what kind of, sometimes it's so heartbreaking when you listen to do that out and about more. It's like we have failed in all aspects of our life. Is the environment, is the education, health. From January till now, we are told that over 3,000 health nurses and midwives have left the country.
Brain drain
is back big time. And it's like we are just fixated about the little things that don't really matter.
We minor in the
we major in the minors.
And minor in the majors.
You see, so it's serious. So for me, Nkrumah, whether you celebrate him or not, the world has celebrated Nkrumah enough.
Exactly.
So the best we can do to honor him is to go back for his ideas and begin to change the narrative. The next 10 years, I don't know where this country will be. Exactly. People are migrating. The graduates are going. So yeah, so Gari sort of fulfilling and
aged population
to be able to give the city some respite, we should begin to cut down the importation of poultry, tomato. All these are basic things.
The industry that they come on. Because the industry in the Nkrumah and the private as well, yeah, solve a lot of.
Sometimes I wonder why we are not able to do it. Whether because the importers they are formed some cartels in the political parties.
Some people benefit from it.
Simple. This is not rocket science, is it? It's not rocket science.
Maybe it is. Don't buy rocket science, but
oh, where was Malaysia? Together when we all gain it. Where they were contemporary. Yes, can we match ourselves to them?
Singapore.
What is it that they did right?
The Asian Tigers.
The Asian Tigers, they are gone. And we are still here doing MPP and this apostrophe S apostrophe or apostrophe S and
I mean, when I find out where
that's what happens if we live in a country that is very polarized. Yeah. Can understand that? So in our car, one issues and misprioritization of what is important. But some priorities in as a country, and all of this
national
is because
development plan.
It's sad that until now, people are still debating on whether or not we should have a national cathedral. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this? So that's people like coming in there for the graduates are traveling to go and do menial jobs over there.
Greener pastures.
So I think we need to.
The golf guys will also come. So Dubai, soon those who in the 70s, what were they? And today is the center of attraction.
From exactly.
Yeah, those Asian tigers in the southern Sudan.
Exactly.
So,
in a nutshell, conversation, we need to change it. It shouldn't be about
apostrophe, founder, no founders.
The point is, the things the man has envisioned will not look at him. Inamuka kaichiki.
No matter when they bury Halio Muna families.
Inamuka kaichiki. And today we sit down and then people say that they have their collective gains as a government is surpassing Akagama presidents since Nkrumah has Wayo. But some of the things we boast of.
Is it borrowing?
Some of the things we boast of were made by Nkrumah. Kagani Gashi Dambanganda Mudu Kamuke benefit light from. Why is she? From that time, when the government has been able to come up with any developmental project that will equal that kind of level. Can't understand that. So that's where for me the discourse in come out. Founders they go in the Akataka mentioning Shiba. Come in the Akafadi, Kuwayasa Nkrumah. Can't understand that. She the can she has on books and she. Kubazana Butushiba Yazana books and she will read Mungani. We know what the man was made of. Kagana. So we need to change the narrative and the discourse. Probably we would achieve a desired result.
Yeah. Go the Korea Madam Muftau Rabi Kene Kaura Ishide Batunde Abinda President for the Gameda Dr. Kwame Nkrumah daga UN General Assembly the AJ Uri. Halwa yau da muna kan al'amuran gari inda muke duba muke tattauna labaran da ya shafi kasar mu Ghana. Who do you see da Rabiu Muftahu su ke kawo ra'ayin su dai batun issues da muke discuss. Yanzu dai zamu duba last topic mu dai for the day inda zamu duba. Mun san dai aka ce exams ya leak. Da BEC da ake kiran shi WASI da sauransu wurin muka san especially waye exams suke leak. Amma yanzu this time Komunajin, this is even the second time daga General Liga Council da mun san entrance exams da ake zana sana je Ghana School of Law daga Makola. Mun ji jiya ko sakaran jiya ma ne exams da za zana at 10 o'clock kenan. Exams ya leak har ya zo social media ma guda nake duba nan ma Independent Examination Committee General Liga Council entrance examination admission to the professional course 2022 Friday 23rd September 2022 kenan za su zana paper number from 10 a.m. zuwa 11:30 tankan 1 hour 30 minutes kenan to before wannan paper ya leak she question nan ne why ya leak don students nan da baya ya zanda za yi a ce su suka leak wannan examination paper tankan ya fito wurin da mutanen da suke set question ko suke da access to the one question shi muke so mu duba the leakage of the questions na entrance exam for law students ya inspire wani confidence cikin legal system don zaka wani gan wani lawyer ma ya ita duban shi da wani don gama maybe ya sai ma ne entrance exams nan ya wanga yasa ya bari the name of the whole legal wanga na to come into disrepute ya bari lawyers ma wasu su damu don sun ga an ita duban su da wasu ido kamar dai wansu ma sun copy ne ko sun samu apost sannan suka yi suka zana suka pass mun san kuma karfin da yake kami ayya pass mutane ma out of a lot of numbers na hada dokan kadan ne sa wannan duka ya raise questions batun dai law entrance an gwada an yi batun expanding the law wangan na ya ke kiran shi law school na ayya samu mutane da yawa su je su ma su yi law duka issues na ya zo shi za mu duba dai batun leakage of the exam bagan wani abu ne is very worrying da ya fi to redeem images especially the Independent Examination Committee na Ghana Legal Council General Legal Council na
So, but legal education in this country, there most issues in the case Taredish. Babu Shaka unka restrict access to systems like that. It becomes a breeding ground for some of these things. People want to pass by any means necessary. Whether they have to bribe their way through and all that, they will do it. Can't understand that. So when I come out, this incident opens the conversation wider as to, you know, expanding the legal education, access to legal education that came between she had law students doing demonstration and Bubuga students, the Sauransu. Sometimes it beats my imagination why Muna so more learned people in our community or our society, yet we are restricting legal education, access to legal education. But it doesn't. But I understand. There are some few people who want to make it like their birthright to be lawyers in this country, and that Munda Mumu Kazama Yakubayu nang Diana Koni the Kanabayan Zama lawyer. So with the Tum Kakana Babana be Tabazama lawyer. What kind of system are we building? Can't understand that. So for me, this is not the first time examination questions are leaking at the WIAC level, BEC. Kuma social media, era leak tundana. Ama social media yazo apari abi ya so simple. Ni abi a leak dagawa in 2 minutes and I cry and I coina. Katasi, you know, technology kina koko social media. Amada wani mutungu dasa am coming, the other person gets it. It takes a while. Kame mo agani mo zana exam sankari. Amazung mutungu dasa am access. Oh, yana spread come on wildfire. Kana. So this one is a wake up call to the General Legal Council. Come on, look, they should set up and begin to do what people have been calling for all these years. Can't understand I. They should expand the professional legal education in Ghana. They shouldn't limit it to only legal school, because even around the arrangement, man, people have issues. Whenever as man that Kazana, man, you don't even have the right to even call for a marking or
this
see
is
your
the second
script.
time marking now.
What kind of system is that?
In July, my happened.
21st century. This is not the first time. In July, it happened. Can't understand that. So the whole legal education in this country, what baffles me and what I think, sometimes I find it unfortunate, we have judges or lawyers who are sitting on the General Legal Council, and restricting people's right to education. How would you marry the two? It's my right to be educated. I decide which profession I want to go into. You just set the system for me to access the examination. What else I'm saying, I was actually out of Mutani 700, just 50 or the whole thing. You can't really understand.
The problems in Garinga.
I know you can't understand.
Don't go in a Kataba issue.
I just think that maybe the people at the top, the few lawyers, they just don't want Abi Ezo come and cheap. Lawyer, so they're just trying to, you know, restrict
access. Pass on mass production.
Pass on mass production. But is it in the interest of the state to have more lawyers? Because you're getting a now man is some issue. They're able to, you know, afford legal service. But the setup of the Legal Aid Commission, man, so can support Mutani to access legal service. In the case, look at how many people are rotting on remand jail in his home. So if indeed there's a need for us to expand to get more people to access legal education, why not? Of course, they also have a point. They don't want the value of lawyers to be fine. But we still have to find a way of ensuring that people who desire and have the passion to become lawyers are not denied. Because it's their right. Can't understand that. For the examination leakage, I mean, of course, there are internal insider job there.
By now, I feel somebody should be fired.
So where else should we go? I didn't
when
say
they leak in the being leakage in the if you do about 2 students who some cover some.
No, but the point is that people find a way of paying to get access to.
Now you also have 6,000 per day. Only reporting there is over.
Now some people will even pay more.
When you are a lawyer, come away and be 6,000.
If you're a lawyer in this country, you know the value that people will pay for some of this. And even people are even leaving for the UK to go and study law and all that. It doesn't help. Can't understand. It doesn't really help. If only people are interested in becoming lawyer, allow the system to produce them. Yeah, can't be some like what they are interfere some like.
They are a lawyer.
They are a lawyer. Well, no. Why should you deprive people from becoming
lawyer
achieving their personal aspirations?
Can limit entrance.
No. It's
right. So debate is in two forms. Whilst I'm sure they are and legal counsel,
general legal counsel,
excuse me, they are looking for quality. I'm looking at the 1992 Constitution. KJ chapter 5, KJ Kaduba 25:1. Harzua C. Kaga Anzana Barin just paraphrase Maka bin the neke so fadi. From 1 Kena, all persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities. And with a view to achieving the full realization of that right, Shimuzu C talks about tertiary, higher education. It says that what? Higher education shall be made equally accessible to all on the basis of capacity. Capacity it defines merit, quality so to define the quality she general legal counsel soon I expect pass mark is 50%. To 50% that cassette for pass mark she 2,000 people in Ghana are looking to become lawyers and they all apply. They go right, and let's assume, let's be charitable and say 2,000 50 pass mark 50%. She yanzu institution that only takes 50 students or 70 students. What are we telling the rest to go and do? So Sunzana or Samusun Bado Kesuba Suka asks for remark, but Aka denying so. Suka come following year because anybody who wants to learn law goes there with passion. Because it's not a small, in fact it's a Herculean task. Can't understand that. Mishia Kuma is the following year. And you know, the funny thing about all of this is that institutions like UCC, Legon, KNUST, Suduka.
Someone who got first class
LLB,
and they'll go and fail.
First class. And LLB, they can't do anything with their certificate except that what? They become professionals in law. They are looking to become professionals in law, and you deny them because you see what? You don't have the necessary facilities or infrastructure. But they meet the constitutional requirements. Kagetai, and they come back year in, year out. The same thing happens to them. Malam Fadigaskia, Nkaini, Shekajiwa Akuwani, Gifega, Inabada, Kagetai, Shekaya Karizo, 6,000, Kajeka Bia, Kasamu, instead of 50%, Kasamu 90%, Chako, Asidanka among first Abingana, Bakai.
That's where the integrity in.
So you see, we say we want. I don't know how we want to do law. We play a lot of mischief. Can't understand that.
A lot of
we say A, B, C, and we deliberately do D, Y, Z. Because you can't put a price on this. Because there are people over there.
So those people coming there for they have haters now. What is it? How much will it take to have another Makola in Kumasi? Because at the lower level now, can allow access. UCC has a law school, UPS a law school, Legon, Tech, and these are all people who are channel. Never think about like Kalamuti after the first class. UCC, almighty UCC. First class to the fail. Yeah, that will be a fail.
Yeah, I feel like when first class big got to come on.
No. But sometimes it's baffling. I mean, we should be honest. Mr. Sukupan, 50% I can take some capacity, but 100%. Let's be effort. Let's be honest. Let's be serious and set up the structures to allow people to go through.
Can't understand that, and we don't even need to. The same institutions we have given the Abenga to do the LLB, I can't understand that. We will expand when the institutions
do their capacity. Let them have their own Makolas in the system.
When you when you go elsewhere, it's not like that. Was it current Chief Justice? Yeah, Renshi. very brilliant kids. They wrote exams in Makwaland and they failed. So after Kasamoja and they passed outstandingly. And they are lawyers practicing. They've been called to the bar. So when they come back to Ghana, what is going to happen? I know, of course, there are structures they will need to go through. Can't understand. But then this beats my mind. There are people. Kataba kaji when big man in Abenga command she has now so in lawyer car LLB ina sama gida. Kataba
maybe ina number
so mana to yanda dai kake son ka
fadi ni bangadi ba nike so
yes all of this
factor now
wanga dukanga ke cause leakages in because people will look for ways and means can understand I
so exploit one
ka gane I not to exploit ka gane I to samu su shiga
no bayan sun shiga
nan it's simple demand and supply issue simple demand and supply issue ne the demand is so huge supply is limited people will pay whatever way they have to they will get it it's simple
ko Abenga I will not be surprised Makama akwa students who will deliberately go looking for leakages. Can't understand that. Probably they are even those who
press mutane da ke printing.
Thank you.
Sunche we suni. Baba ka gane su
aka. Chain new. It's a chain.
It's a chain.
It's a chain. Ko ya aka yi there will be a 40 chain somewhere.
Kuma mutum guda ya samu. Okay. Ba wasu WhatsApp ne.
Message na wani ya share Facebook na ga wai wani ya zo wurin shi ya ce mai bashi kudin. Za shi sai wannan paper na don wasu dan wansu sun sa wai ce a bai bashi. Don ya zo yana so ya sai kan ga me shi ya try bai samu ya pass ba sai yana ga this is the best chance in the day ya samu chance ya biya ya samu people nan prior to the exams ne ya zana sa wannan duka saboda unlimited yake kira
kamar da brother na fadi even garin ga mai zo academics sometimes the way we rate it na kamar exams na is the beat and all what I samu third class and after waje chala he's super kana sana so
me yasa law ya zama wana baka muke
manya na no suke restrict
the problem is that
manya na no
the problem is that I think barin deviate kadanche ya fara it didn't start from now kaga yanda muke rates even within our backgrounds and yanda muke gan law it's not the same we view medicine and engineering and the likes can't understand I know from my home to law ana kai
lawyer
zaka take ka join masu kariyan nan ka get so we didn't infiltrate into those areas when the suka infiltrating nan they are now reaping the benefits and they don't want to
I should you having fish exclusive
ka gane ka gane to the extent that they even lawyers think they are above criticism. People within the law domain feel they are above criticism. They call themselves learned. You understand? Learned, so every other person is not learned. Ama suno moke ya suna criticize all others. You can carry an engineering certificate. Can understand? And you don't have a job in engineering and you are roaming around. Why can't we have that in law? Who does it best? Who does it serve best? Who does it benefit if everybody in the country is a lawyer? Kagane fira nanko. Why? Musa have been the constitutional key for we know the nooks and crannies. We know the twists and turns of it.
So at least LLB the African adeshi. When certificate.
Kagane fira na iko. To. Amato. We like to make reference mostly to ancient Greeks, Romans, even Egyptians.
The Latin,
Kagane, all of the earlier civilizations. And these people all now, what they have in common is law. Law and philosophy. In Kadoki, Israel, for instance, and you go to Israel and want to scoop. It is even associated, it's a common stereotype, kama and Israelites, and you want to, as a kira profession in me, she's 2 or 3 things. Medical doctor, engineer, or a lawyer.
Wow.
Just like Cuba is associated with medical doctors. No. India is associated with IT and technology.
So Ghana, what are we associated?
What is our specialty?
And this is the case. People are aspiring to become learned. Learned, is it a bad thing? And you are deliberately stifling them down.
We want Barcelona to produce mass production. Quantity.
So who does the mass? But we can have mass production and still maintain the quality.
I don't think that will undermine the quality. No.
And some a lot of charlatans. Also lawyers must not prepare cases we can go to my judge and a lawyer my one. Yes, I don't want I can so avoid now.
Gari in our hometown in Aboko. You can have a case there. Boko used to be Boku Kasayan the Boko is central Boku you would have a case over there and you have to come to Bolga or other places to look for a lawyer.
Lawyers Basun Sujetauri.
Lawyers Basunani. And now people over there are looking to study law. Kagani, but the system and limited. So
I feel to go on region, Mamu in Adamakal, she can
Kagani
should be on regional basis. Some would have been
and I think it is an eyesore, not especially because we have a president who is a lawyer, we have an attorney general who is a lawyer, we have a chief justice who sits on the general legal council. So they are all familiar with this Abenganga problem. The question is, what have they done to resolve it? Kagani Firan.
I'm gamba to is it 499 and
yes.
Later I was readmit in Sukuma
it should tell you that something is
that
wrong.
Should tell you something is wrong. So
took the intervention of Attorney General Masanang admit in Sukuma.
To Kagani.
It should tell you that something is wrong.
Kagani. And not just attorney, a lot of people stood up for that. People went to court because of that. People organized demonstrations because of that. At least I know of lawyer Xavier Sosu. I think he even came to he had a little mishap with the government because of that. Or should I say the security agencies because of that. Kagani.
Lawyer Kukaza, Professor Kukaza, she naga number one fighter in
Kagani.
And
you have the likes.
So when you listen to them, what is happening is just I don't even know the word.
There's one Professor Prempe also in the US, based in the US.
Hey, Professor Prempe
Kagani, even Martin Pebu and Co. Also.
They are against this lawyers so speaking against the status quo. It should tell you that something is wrong somewhere.
Most students never see us fight. Sometimes we don't achieve.
No, not confused.
No, no, can backing when you back at come on.
No, the political willingness is not there. That's the bottom line.
No, come on, I can cancel people. And also, I feel that students in the I don't listen mafia.
So on the matter of leakage, me, I'm not surprised. Once we don't basics in that.
And there is a human institution.
Always
have credibility issues. Come on, and you Akagan lawyer and I do one she want to make she pass man show. Maybe one year the case I'm going to engineer school. I'm do the one that you do.
No, but even on campuses, university leakages happen. It's been part of us.
Some places they
just after when it becomes too rampant.
Kagani, this legal issue, the one that has become widely known in terms of but leakages.
Maybe how far
it's just last July and got one gun. But I can assure you, it has been happening. It has been happening. Kagani, so but because and I'm sure it is becoming particularly a matter of discourse now because of the issue of the 499. Kagani Firan. So I think if we are looking to make a headway, we need to make sure that we have the basics right. Kagani, if we do that, it will help. And one of the ways to easily do that, I think many people have espoused, is that the institutions that have been granted the ability to host and train and produce LLB students in Yakamata Suno Abaso capacity. I can tell you they can do. If you go to Kofi Abochi when he was in Gimpa, he's a practicing lawyer. Are you telling me Kofi Abochi cannot teach people to become practicing lawyers?
Tamude ya kure na some wrap up the kind issues in the Mukaduban.
So
only 2 minutes now.
So on the issue and the Yakama on the broad spectrum Nandukan underlying point in is just a matter of what priority. And nobody will take the priority for government because we are those who have put them there. So we have put them in charge. They need to make sure that the right things are done at all levels. If it's matter of security, we have it right. If it is matter of our institutions and what they do, we have to make sure that we prioritize those things. The education minister was online, I think also on the Abinga UN, Abinga Nanoni. Shikumaya Jena Magana about education, and he was mentioning the fact that the educational system is churning people who are more chew and poor oriented rather than, and
when we can't memorize our way out of poverty.
Kagani. And my issue and concern is that we have all these issues that we can look at, and instead of, I don't want to lay blames I don't want to start pointing fingers and doing politics, but I still feel that as a president or our leaders should desist from making blame games and start doing the right things. The president went to UN General Assembly and he's still blaming our economic crisis on COVID and Ukraine war. Granted, every country has suffered, but people have moved on. You understand? And he's going, what's his name? Bryce Simmons came and was saying that yes, it's true, but Ghana is not a hardly hit country. Can't understand that? And we keep reporting Ghana as though Ghana is the only country that has suffered.
No, but last words in
So my last words essentially goes to especially the celebration in Nkrumah's birthday. I think we should just move away from just merely
move away from
celebrating it every year, and then let's give real meaning to what Nkrumah stood for. What is it that he wanted to do that he couldn't? Because those that he stood for and wanted to do are still relevant as they were in his days. And the thing that we can do to really honor his memory is to pick up the plans he had, all the vision, all the things that he did that we have destroyed. We should go back and begin to rebuild it again. Let's go for the industries. Let's command that sugar factory be grinding and churning out sugar. Let's cut down importation of rice, poultry, and let's see what life we can give to the city for it to also begin to gain some strength against the dollar. On the issue about Ajiami Ale Chikanta, family na muna Karabas Wankuri, so exercise patience. Let's see how what the law comes out with in terms of the legal processes. Overall security, then again the police they are doing their best, but citizens also have a role to play. We should be more security conscious and begin to collaborate more with the police to make sure that security is improved across the country.
To Malam Hudu Yusuf kenan administrator na Umma Work Fund, shi da Malam Rabiu Muftau first time ever da yazo kenan suka yi muna karin bayani da batun issues labaran da muka duba da muka discuss so far da mun duba issues guda fudu mun duba batun Munira muka duba batun kuma wakilin sannan still muka duba law school entrance exams in daily kuma muka duba da batun abinda president ya faɗi in terms of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Nan ga zai zamu dasa aya inda zamu kawo karshen programin ko show na al'amuran gari. Insha Allah next week wala haka Allah ya kai mu rai da lafiya mun kawo muku wani da shi na al'amuran gari. Suna na Jama Muhammad Ibrahim production na wanda suka taimaka Alhaji Saka mun gode kwarai da ka taimaka komi ya je daidai kuma guest na Malam Rabi na san mun kuma ganka kuma insha Allah in due time ka zo ka wanga sannan Hudu Yusuf da shi ne ko lokaci sa mun gode kwarai da ka kawo karin ra'ayin ku dai kai karin bayani batun issues na going forward kuma na san mun same ku kuma so jama'a nan ga zamu da sahaya mun gode kwarai kun da kuka kawo messages ku da sauran ku contribute mun gode ku kasance da mu BEIN TV connected to yau shin mu ce barkanmu da yau assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
Kawai wasu ba su son wasu su zama ba.